They finally got him. Let's see. Let me play this.
Y oraron y nunca dejaron de creer y luchar por mi libertad.
And this is why I want to thank each and every one of you who marched, lift your voices, never stopped praying, and continued to fight in my name.
Gracias a mi pareja de vida, mi esposa Jennifer, mi hermano César, mi madre Cecilia y toda mi familia.
Thank you to my life partner and wife, Jennifer, to my brother, Cesar, to my mother, Cecilia, to my children, to my nieces and nephews.
So,
what is this we're looking at?
okay, so that was the guy, what's his name? Kelmar Garcia. And he's finally being deported. So let me show this one too.
Who is this with the unkempt tie?
So remember the guy who they kept trying to deport, and then people was trying to sue to halt the deportation of that guy Garcia. They're saying because he was an illegal migrant and he was a gang person. So he's finally, it says, Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been arrested by ICE in Baltimore, Maryland, and faces potential deportation to Uganda. Trump's ICE is ripping his family. Oh no, they're pro. But anyway, so it says ICE has arrested MS-13 terrorist Kilmar Abrigo Garcia in Baltimore, Maryland, and he now faces possible deportation to Uganda. So that was him today giving a speech, right?
Well, who's the guy they're showing in the middle right here?
This is his lawyer. So I wanted to play this clip here.
Es tremendo.
Could you say more about the lawsuit that was filed this morning against his current detention?
Yeah, so the lawsuit that was filed this morning is asking for an order that he not be allowed to be removed from the United States unless and until he's had full due process as to claim for protection to any particular country that they want to name. Right now it's Uganda. Tomorrow it might be, who knows, right? The main issue, aside from just the conditions in the country, is that country going to actually let him stay there, right? I mean, they can offer to send him to Madrid, Spain, and unless Madrid, Spain is going to let him remain in that country, essentially all it is just a very inconvenient layover on the way to El Salvador, right? Which is the one country that it's already been determined that he can't be sent to, right? So our contention is that they can't send him to any one of the other 200 countries on earth unless that country is given credible assurances that he'll be allowed to have a legal status, such as Costa Rica has already done, right? Costa Rica has already offered refugee status.
The suit this morning.
The suit was filed by Murray Osorio PLLC and the law firm of Quinn Emanuel.
Boys, ain't nobody gonna touch that man up in my jail. We's gonna give him a fair trial before we hang him. Ain't gonna be hanging nobody without no trial. Yeah, okay, fine. So the point is, it's okay, due process of law. Actually, the situation is, I like the rubber border thing, which is if you crash the border, if they can show you're the same person, the border hasn't broken, it just expanded like a rubber band and you got way, way deep inside before it snaps you back to the border. So the question comes is if somebody knocks on the border or at an entry point say, hey, I want to come into America and I want to have a trial on the issue of whether I should go back to El Salvador where they want me for a lot of criminality or wherever it is, you can just say, no, you're not coming in. Mm-hmm. And your due process of law consists of whether or not you got caught or you evaded the border. So that's the issue. Did you evade the border? And if you ain't supposed to be here, ain't nothing supposed to happen nice to you like you was here illegal, like.
True, but my thing is, listen, if he get refugee status in Costa Rica, that ain't a bad look for him.
No, it's not. I know somebody that's
I don't
got a
think you want to go
nightclub.
to Uganda, but I think Uganda, Costa Rica is way better than El Salvador.
Yeah. I mean, I know somebody that did commercials for the barbecue thing, and I did some commercials for her whiskey business. Just bought it at a nightclub she fixed up in Costa Rica. So I mean, it ain't a bad place to be.
Well, Trump
I mean, but you know where they're sending him.
he said he will allow 600,000 Chinese students to come in here. Let me play this.
President Xi would like me to come to China. It's a very important relationship. As you know, we're taking a lot of money in from China because of the tariffs and the different things, and it's a very important relationship. We're going to get along good with China. I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students. We're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow. It's very important. 600,000 students. It's very important. But we're going to get along with China. But it's a different relationship that we have now with China. It's a much better relationship economically than it was before. With Biden, boy, what he allowed that, I mean, they just took him to the cleaners. You know, President.
So he said he will allow 600,000 Chinese students.
Students.
No,
They have smart students.
I don't give a damn.
Oh, but it doesn't hurt. See, the deal is the way it works. They used to invite American students to Europe, to Russia, to places like that, to Japan. And they invited Japanese students, they invited European students, et cetera, to America because they get to know each other. So when it comes time for you to set up a deal involving international trade and commerce, you're not dealing with complete strangers. So people are friends of yours instead of enemies, so you can deal with each other amicably. It promotes international peace. And remember, we don't want any hydrogen bombs going off, any thermonuclear warheads
Well,
detonating any
but
place.
here's the thing, though, because China is our adversary. And then their students and their young people are our competition. So
Yeah.
you let them come here, be educated with the best schools and best facilities, and they're going to go back to their country and make their country better. But where's the investment in the American kids and
But
students?
the problem is this: the American kids could go over to China if they had
Can we?
something in school, high school and junior high, but they
Not
don't.
100,000.
Well, even that many. See, here's what's going
We
on.
don't have 600,000 American students.
No, hold on. It's pathetic. See, China is interesting. It's the largest country in the world. And what that means is the United States has 300 plus million citizens. China has 300 million citizens plus a billion extra. And whereas in the United States, you have to take out student loans to go to college, your education is absolutely scot-free in China if you want to apply yourself. If you want to see how it is, what kind of phone do you have? Who makes your phone?
Mm-hmm.
The one you're using all the time, isn't it an iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
It's made in China. Next time you order one, ask them to give you the shipping information. This one that I'm on right now, that's all busted up due to
That's still made in China. But here's the
made
thing.
in
So
China.
right now in 2024, there are only 800 American students studying in China.
That's because we're not qualified.
Let me finish. Prior to that, it was at its peak of 15,000. So you're talking about 15,000 compared to 600,000. Like,
But the point is look, let me tell you, I was involved in admissions several times on the collegiate level. What the problem is that you don't find as many American students who've aced these aptitude tests, who have the grade point averages who have done this other thing. So
But
technically, if
that is
you,
because our government, state and federal, are not properly investing in education.
of course they're not. So why would anybody
So
invite
then
him?
why are you okay? So here's what I'm saying. They're not investing properly in education, but you're going to bring people from a country that are investing in their education. So they come here advanced in a lot of areas because their country invested in them. How about you stop letting all these 600,000 people, over 600,000, because not just the Chinese, but 600 Chinese are the most, but there are other students in other countries. How about you take that money that you're invested in these foreign students and invest in American students?
You're not investing in them. You're allowing them to come. Their governments are paying the tuitions
No, no, no,
or
no, no.
the
I'm talking
incidental
about
fees.
no, no, no. I'm talking about they are when they come here, they are already prepared academically because their
I know.
country invested. What I'm saying is our country don't invest in us the way China
Yes,
invests in their students.
that's true. But you know why it's advantageous to us? Because you get 10 Chinese students and 100 American students gathered in the student union. 90 of the American students are whining about discrimination and, oh, woe is us, we're victims, and they're not giving us what we are entitled to. And the Chinese students who are doing better than them in the class, even though English isn't their first language, they're whipping it up in class, and they're going, what the devil do you mean about entitlement? What does that mean? Why are you whining about everything? Just go take advantage of the opportunity you have. See, that's good for American students to be exposed to another group of students who are their peers in age who didn't come from all of this affluence, but had a little bit of hard scrabble in their lives. And they're saying, hey, you need to pay attention to your homework, read this stuff, study this stuff. That's how we're getting ahead because we're dedicated to this cause. And you want to go get high, go party, and go out on dates, and you're more concerned about your spring break than you are about your grades for the spring classes. So what's going
I
on?
agree with you on that, but then I disagree on something. I think you are, I think that I think it's 50-50. Yes, it's the American culture, but however, the other side is the investment in education has drastically dropped throughout the decades. The investment when you were going to school was much higher than it is
Of
today.
course, yes. But
So
that's not
so I would say it's 50-50 is what you were saying as far as the American culture where kids are just not that interested, but it's also neither is our government on state and federal level.
well, see, here's the other thing that you need to consider. Humanity has always sought to educate the residents of arrival. The Romans educated people from all around the periphery of their empire. See, that's been a historic thing. Uh, right now, one of the problems in Ukraine is the way the African descendants were being so badly mistreated by the Ukraine government. Why were there African descendants in Ukraine? Because Stalin brought over a bunch of them free of charge at Soviet expense in the early 1950s because it was deemed advantageous to the Soviet Union to educate Africans and other folks so they would be friendly toward the Soviet Union in later years. So they came over to the Soviet Union. They didn't want to stay in the Moscow area where it gets 40 below zero in the winter. They stayed in the southernmost part of the Soviet Union, which was Ukraine. Now, what we wind up with is the Chinese are educating a whole bunch, 4, 5, 6, 10 times that many Africans so that they will become beholden to Africa. The United States brought in Kenyans. That's how Obama got started. His daddy was a Kenyan student who was brought in as a grad student to be friendly to the United States. See, it has a long term fallout. Everybody does that. The Romans, again, were famous about bringing in Germanic princes and smart German warriors and educating them as Romans. See, the Greeks did that too. The Turks did that. That's
Okay,
what they
so this
did.
this is okay. It's not an unusual practice. I get it,
Yeah.
but I just think if you're going to, and it's nothing wrong with bringing people in, but you can't neglect your people there. Just like Chicago, neglecting the residents, American
That's because
citizens of
they turned
Chicago
it.
for the illegal. So
That's because they went off on stuff that's intangible garbage as your agenda, your propaganda uh, beneficiary, and that's not working. I keep saying they keep trying to convert the country to some kind of crazy outlook where you're not supposed to be brave, courageous, duty bound, honor bound, dealing with logic, rationality, reason, objectivity, because that's a man thing and that promotes war. I see
I get what no. I get what you're saying.
that. I
So
just heard that over and over in the late 60s. War is a bad thing, man. We need to be about love, man.
well, I
Like,
think well maybe this is one of the tactics of bringing love by bringing in students, and having an open line of communication so that you're not adversary of war.
well,
Um,
give you an example.
well, I want to move on to something else because we got to go.
Just a quick one. Pearl Harbor. The mastermind to Pearl Harbor was Admiral Yamamoto. Okay. He went to Harvard and other educational institutions in the United States. He told the Japanese high command, he said, you do not need to provoke the United States of America. It is a sleeping giant, and what you do not wish to do is awaken it. They told him he had orders anyway, as their smartest admiral, to plan the attack on Pearl Harbor. He said, please don't make me do this. You will be very sorry if you do. So he did it anyway, and Japan became very sorry that he did. But at least you had somebody in very high places who was saying, we don't need to be enemies with these people. I know what they're doing is very grievous and racist, but we need to go deal with it another way. He wound up getting shot down by a flight of P-38s because he was so punctual that they could count on him being exactly in a certain place at exactly the same time. He didn't make it through the war, but he did tell them what he did.
All
And
right.
that's why you
This is
educate
so this
foreign.
is so this is the last thing here, because gotta.
Dana with the data. Dana with the data.